Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the AstroEnergy show for March 18th, 2015. My name is Shelley Overton, and I'll be your host for this hour of your show. So how's it been for you this week? Has it been stressful? I can tell you it's been stressful for me. I think just leaving the house anymore becomes stressful. So we've had a lot going on. So we had Saturn retrograde last Saturday. Actually, let me just double check because, of course, I have to get my glasses on. So Saturn retrograded. Let's see what else happened since the last show. Oh, goodness. So Mars is now out of direct square, I should say, to Pluto. We've got Jupiter in inconjunct, which means 150 degrees away from Pluto. And that's not an exact, that's also within 2 degrees of an exact. So even though it's not exact, it's still being felt. And Jupiter's retrograding, which means he is moving away from that inconjunct, but it is there. So it's really kind of this uncomfortable, kind of like there's something there, but you're not exactly sure what it is. And we've got trines going on between Jupiter at 13 Leo and Uranus at 15, and also Mars at 20. Of course, again, that's also just about at the end of that trine. Trines, actually, any of the aspects that I talk about, when I look at an aspect, I look at it within an 8-degree orb. That means 8 degrees either side, and that's the way I learned it. But more and more after, and I've mentioned this numerous times, since I studied horary, Horary, meaning on the hour, or, the moment the chart is done for an event type of astrology. In horary, you read the chart differently, and there are certain logical things that I think help in reading a chart that isn't horary. And that would be when planet aspects are approaching each other, approaching exact, that they are much more active. And once they've hit that peak and start to move away from each other, they become less energetic and start to fade. So really the moment of that exact aspect is kind of like the peak of that aspect. And as it fades away, it really pulls away energy and has less power over our lives. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have an effect, because if you have a chart with these aspects and they're after a direct hit, it may mean that earlier on in your life you had more of the feeling of that, or whatever the degree is, you'll feel it again, but it fades away over time. So anyway, so we have Mars moving out of exact trine to Jupiter and moving out of exact square to Pluto. So that means that a lot of that intense energy going on with that coupling, or that triad, is now starting to fade, and Mars is going into the last decan of Aries, which means that he's moving into the Sagittarius decan. And I'm giving you kind of a little astrology lesson here besides just talking about what's going on currently. The first decan, which is the first 10 degrees of a sign, is the sign itself, and the next 10 are the next sign in element. So if it's Aries, the next sign in that element is Leo, so that would be the middle decan, and the last decan, which is the final 10 degrees, would be Sagittarius, which is the final element of fire. So that's another layer of what is added to the chart to read. So we have Mars entering the last decan, which is the Sagittarius energy, and really it's just amazing to me watching what's going on with Uranus and Aries and the square with Pluto, and now that's over and it's starting to move away, and it's going to really be interesting when Pluto goes retrograde, because really right now they're both still in 15 degrees or 15 degrees of their respective signs. And there's our ice cream man. Boy, he's a couple of minutes early. I don't know if you can even hear it. Let me know in the chat room if you can hear me. He's right in front of my house. There, I'm trying to let you hear over my microphone. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying. So when Pluto goes retrograde, which will be the 16th of April, then he will actually appear to be moving retrograde in our orbit. So when we fly by and he appears to be pulling his energy back, that's really a key moment, because that means that right now, even though they are separating, Uranus is pulling away, he's pulling ahead in orbit. He's at 1524, whereas Pluto's at 1520. They're still going the same direction. But when Pluto actually says, okay, I know I've separated and you're going off in the distance, I'm going to go back this way, that's another key moment in the square as far as I'm concerned. And Pluto in Capricorn retrograding means that he's going back over the territory that they were just in. They were both moving through this area that Pluto will be covering again. And so Pluto in Capricorn, again, it's bringing up issues of self-worth, or actually worth to the collective, and value in the structure, in the government. And it's going backwards, so it's like looking back to the past going, what happened? Where were we? Like kind of almost wistful, looking at that tradition and saying, but I really miss that tradition. I really want that to be the way it was. But and you will probably see an increase in the structure, the traditionalism of government, and no, we have to go back. It's already there. But when Pluto retrogrades, it's like we want to relive that energy. And the difference this time, though, is when Pluto goes retrograde, there's no battle against Uranus, per se. There's no direct confrontation. So it's kind of like we'll be fighting ghosts, so to speak, and we'll be reliving the energy, trying to make sense of the battle. So you'll see that coming up, and there may be energies like government and corporations reworking their laws or their governing rules and things like that, trying to make sense of where to go, because there was such a battle. It's kind of like, and I've used this analogy before, but the tug of war analogy, where both sides are pulling on the rope and Uranus just is letting go of the rope, and now Pluto is falling backwards. So that's what's going on. So in going backwards, it's like there's that moment when the energy is pulling away and you're falling through the air, and there's going to be a thud. And the thud's going to happen when Pluto goes back direct later on this year. And that's when it's going to be, okay, now I have to pick myself up and go forward. And that's going to be in September, the third week, right around the 23rd of September. So we'll see that energy again. So as Pluto moves forward, we are feeling there's time for change. I mean, I'm looking around Orlando, and everywhere I look, there is construction. And especially in my area, I live on the east side, and it's just crazy. I mean, I don't even want to go out of the house anymore. But that's the structure. It's the roads. It's the systems that make up the physicality of the area, and that's Pluto and Capricorn. So there could be, wherever you live, there could be a slowdown in the construction or rethinking of what was approved or things like that. So it's also government because Pluto rules government. Pluto rules the bureaucracy of government to some degree. It rules the IRS and the legal issues, so anything revolving around lawyers. And then, of course, Saturn is the structure and the system and the organization of it. So that energy is going on, and that's coming up here, of course. It's coming up in April. So we've got that to look forward to. And also Saturn. So Saturn's kind of the next big story going on right now. Saturn retrograding, squaring Neptune. Of course, they're within 4 degrees of a square, and now Saturn's pulling back. So he's going back over everything that's happened since November, actually December. And he's reviewing all this forward motion that we've had, the expansion, I think to a lot of degrees, moving forward, wanting freedom. He's been partnering with the Aries energy and Jupiter and Leo, even though they're not to the exact degree. These intense energies are now in the 3 corners of the sky, Jupiter, Uranus, and Saturn, and they are all planted there for the time being, until Saturn gets into Scorpio for his last attempt at drawing out the hidden and the deep emotional things that we've really got to finish up processing. And he'll be there. I know I say this every week. You guys who listen regularly are probably going, yeah, okay. But till the first day of August, he'll be retrograde. And so when he's retrograde, he's reviewing things. And interestingly, Jupiter retrograde tends to act more like Saturn, and Saturn retrograde can act like Jupiter, because the restriction, when he's going forward, he wants to control, he wants to restrict and understand and categorize. Retrograde, it's like it's kind of a loosening up of that, and now we're having the time to really evaluate and seek out more information. So it is a time of information coming out, but also being reviewed, and it relates to the career, because our career is ruled by Saturn, and also karma, cause and effect relationships. So anyway, I don't have anybody. Oh, there are a few people in the chat room. If you can hear me okay, please just let me know. And it looks like you can. So hi in the chat room. Anyway, and Venus yesterday just went into Taurus, little St. Patrick's Day Venus. So she's in Taurus now. She's happy. I mean, she was in the masculine energy of Aries, and that made her much more inclined to just speak her mind. And quite honestly, I understand this to be true as well. A little more aggressive, a little more actually. And yesterday she went into Taurus, which means if she was angry, she is probably more inclined to act out in a physical way when she goes into Taurus, because Taurus is an earth energy and a physical, tangible energy. So Venus is the goddess of love, and now she's in her own sign of Taurus, and that rules the material world of love and also desire and money. As we all know, it's the second house of money, and she's also the ruler of Libra, but we won't talk about that right now. So I have to apologize, because I have some cat energy, cat hair around here. My daughter's got a cat at our dad's house, and it's starting to affect me a little bit. So if I cut out, it's probably me just sniffling off air. So anyway, Venus in Taurus, she is very much about money, money markets, stocks, goods of the material world. Also, it can be houses, it can be property and land, things like that. So it's about purchases, and interestingly enough, I bought a new bed yesterday, so that's kind of cool. Property, so to speak, but definitely something that will help my physical well-being and my mental and emotional well-being. So let's see what else. Oh, yeah, and Mercury is in Pisces. He's within a few minutes of Neptune, just went past Neptune, he's at 8 degrees 54 minutes, and Neptune is at 8 degrees 2 minutes. And the Sun is at 27 degrees and 59 minutes of Pisces, which means, and we also have the Moon in there today as well at 6 degrees. So we have 4 planets in Pisces, and definitely feeling that sleepy time energy today. We've had more vivid dreams. I mean, everything I've said about Pisces holds true, but the other thing I want to mention about Pisces and Neptune is the energy of escapism and looking to things, because this is something that I've been dealing with. And, I'm a very sensitive person, so I pick up on energy around me, and I've tried to do that more so over the last 7 or 8 years. And in opening up my sensitivities, it's made me much more susceptible to all the energies, including energy of the world, energy of news, people's conflicts, traffic, everything. Everything affects me going out into public, and I am an outgoing person, and I've become somewhat of an introvert because of the opening of my intuition and awareness of all these things. So I have Saturn at 0 degrees Pisces, and all this Pisces just increases all that energy for everybody. And so Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, is about the dreaminess, the ethereal world. And I say dreaminess and I say illusory, but we are connected to the other side through that energy. So even though it seems like it's not real, and this is kind of what I want to touch on, that the opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo, and Virgo is very pragmatic and down to earth and grounded. That's the balance of the zodiac. So Pisces, when it has to deal with the tangible world, tends to check out and just wants to go off into daydream land. And if they can't daydream, if they can't meditate, they start doing other things like eating too much sugar, drinking, doing drugs, any type of negative escapism. So this is a time of increased addictions, really. And it's also the sign of addictions. So you might want to be aware that that is happening. At the same time, the moon is making her way through all of the degrees of Pisces. She'll be hitting Neptune and then Mercury and then the sun. And when she hits the sun in a day and a half, actually I think it's a day and a half, she just went in today, this morning. So the eclipse is coming up, and she will be at 29 degrees Pisces, right there at the degree of the moon. And of course I lost my glasses. Of course they're right in front of me. So I'm just looking up for you the exact time of that eclipse. So we are all on the same page. And of course, this is one thing I don't like about the Llewellyn Planetary Guide, is it doesn't give you the time, which when I do my postings to Facebook and other places with my little art glyphs that I have, I look up the times on my program, but it just says it's at 29:29. So I don't know, but it's Friday the 20th. And then, of course, the moon goes into Aries, as does the sun at 6:45 p.m. So, okay, here it is, conjunct. So the conjunct is as good as an eclipse as far as I'm concerned. So it's at 5:36 in the morning and 2:36 Pacific. So Friday morning we have this eclipse, and at the very end degree of the eclipse is, of course, the time when we let go whatever we had held on to that is represented by that house or that sign. And, Pisces rules the 12th house, and it rules 29 degrees Pisces is the very last sign of the zodiac before it shifts over to spring and to the new energy birth. So we have that moment in time, and I know there's a drum circle going on in Orlando to celebrate that moment, spring equinox. So Friday is a really big day, and we've got the sun and the moon going into Aries, which means we will have 4 planets in Aries again. So right from the watery depths and back into the fire and drying off and action and movement. So that's going to be the weekend. So if you're planning on doing something this weekend, it's a good time to do it, but it's also going to be a very strong time of letting go and saying goodbye to old karma, to old friends, to old stories. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting coming up. I mean, there's so many big triggers coming up in the sky this year. So just put your seatbelts on, as Betty Davis said. You're in for a bumpy ride. Actually, I'm trying to remember, was it Betty Davis or was it Joan Crawford? I think it was Betty Davis. Let me know in the chat room. Okay, so today, the last thing before we take calls, I'm probably going to spend a few minutes and take an early break and then take calls on the other side. So we're talking about Sagittarius. So the sign of Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of fortune. It is called the Great Benefic. And if you ever look at a visual representation of the planet Jupiter, you will be amazed just how huge he is. He is ginormous, and I apologize for those who hate words like that. I used to hate words that are combined, but that is one of my favorites. Ginormous is really as succinct as it gets. I think I heard it was 1,000 times as big as Earth. Think about the size of that. That's incredibly large. That has a tremendous gravitational pull on us. And when he goes direct or retrograde, it creates an enormous effect. Well, Sagittarius is ruled by this giant, and he is called the Great Benefic because he brings wonderful benefits and happiness and joy wherever he goes. And right now he is in the sign of Leo, but I'm digressing because I'm talking about Sagittarius. This is the attribute of Sagittarius. Sagittarians are influenced by Jupiter. Sagittarius is a fire sign, and it's called the Centaur, Centaur, and that means half man, half horse. So, he also carries a bow and arrow. So that energy translates visually, archetypically, to having the energy of the horse and wanting the drive and everything, and this is part of the symbology, below the waist on the body, Sagittarius rules the legs, and anything physical, and it also, Sagittarius, the sign, is very connected to nature and loves nature. So anyone with a Sagittarius, heavy influence of Sagittarius, is likely going to be a bit of an ADHD person, because I've found, knowing charts of people in my life, Sagittarius is one of the signs that makes people really have a difficult time sitting still. My daughter has Mars in Sagittarius, and she is definitely one who cannot just stay in place for very long. She needs to be going and doing all the time. So that is part of the energy of it. It rules the 9th house of the zodiac, and the 9th house is higher education, spirituality, and I would say maybe even ideology, the ideas that certain things are a certain way, and kind of a precursor to the Capricorn house with the dogma, but it's kind of like the ideas begin on how everything should work with the spirituality in the 9th house, and in the 10th house they get put into concrete practice. So spirituality, ideals, this is the energy of a person who, if you are influenced, say, with Saturn, they like to go out and be in nature as a career, and teachers can have it, professors really are Sagittarian. Oh, and comedians. I find a lot of comedians have Sagittarius in their chart, as well as musicians. So that gives you kind of an overview for today of Sagittarius. And their birthdays, I guess I've forgotten to give birthdays, are from roughly November 23rd through December 22nd. So if you know anyone born after Thanksgiving and before Christmas, they're likely a Sagittarian. Okay, so I'm going to take a quickie break, and then we will be back and take phone calls. And welcome back. You're listening to the AstroEnergy Show on Blog Talk Radio. And my name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. And I am interested in taking calls today. And believe it or not, there is no one in the waiting line, the queue. So if you're interested in getting a reading today, this is the day to do it, because I don't even remember a show where I haven't had anybody waiting. So I'm just going to put up real quick on, I don't know, I'm going to tell you this while I'm doing it so that I can keep all this going. Have you ever been to spiritualnetworks.com? This is it's like Facebook, only it's for people who are interested in spirituality. And so if you have any interest in doing, like connecting to other people, that's a really great place to go. I'm sorry, I'm trying to also type in my phone number while I'm saying this, so it's not too easy. Anyway, I go to Spiritual Networks, and there are a lot of great people over there, and they're all interested in this type of show, in this type of interest. So I would highly recommend you go can't even speak. Go over and check it out, because it's really a great place to meet people who are interested in anything like religion or hypnosis or hypnotherapy or, metaphysics, astrology, anything like that. It's really a great place. So I'm just right now just telling you what I'm doing, because I'm drumming up callers, because I don't know why we don't have anyone. It's kind of odd. But anyway, so this week was it's stressful overall because of, still the last bits of energy from Uranus and Pluto squaring each other. But, it's starting to kind of ease up a bit. But I find that I'm just really irritated more this week. So I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because of Mars in Aries. But anyway, that's all about me. So we've got some callers now. Yay! So we'll take the first call. 253. Hi, who is this?
Hi, this is Maureen.
Maureen, mi amiga, how are you?
This is Maureen. How are you? What a
I'm
great
good.
show! It really gave us great perspectives on what's going on this week with all these kind of dramatic shifts that are happening on the planet. So thank you for that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh well, yeah. It's really, this month, as far as I'm concerned, is probably the most intense month of the year so far, and probably will continue to be the most intense because of all the shifts going on. And then April is probably the second because Pluto retrogrades in April. But yeah. So how have you been?
I'm doing terrific. Thank you so much, and I hope
Good.
you're doing better too with the cat hair that's all around.
No, my nose is completely stuffy.
I thought it would be fun I'd like to ask a question, but I thought it would be fun for you to ask me a question, and I would pull 3 cards for you.
Oh, you're awesome. Yeah, okay. I can definitely do that. So, did you want to ask me first, or do you want me to ask you first?
No, go ahead and ask me a question first. I have my cards ready.
Okay, well, you know me. I feel like I always have the same questions, but I just want to know the direction I should move with what I'm doing, because I've got 5 different things. For those who don't know me very well, I've got not 5 different things. I only do astrology and art, but within each is a subcategory of YouTube and newsletters and live readings, and so many ways of promoting and interacting with people. I just want to know what's going on with that, and if there's any more information to be gleaned from that. It's kind of funny.
There's a business opportunity that all you need to do is kind of get out there in the world. So I don't know what that means in your life right now. But
that's the problem. Getting out.
Business opportunity, world, and you've been holding back 4 of Pentacles. Mm-hmm. But they want to offer you something in this opportunity. You might have to travel just a bit to do it. You might be able to work from home because it says 3 of Pentacles and Chariot, which could mean that the papers, you could talk it through and work some of it from home.
Well, can I just interject real quick? The 3 of Pentacles, the number 3 in astrology, is the house of writing. So I thought that's interesting because you can overlay a little bit of astrology and numerology into that when you bring in the 3, which is writing. Communication.
You're doing some writing now, and just move forward with that because you could see some financial abundance from that if you would just, move forward with it. It says you're really visualizing some things right now, 7 of Cups, and you're working on, a lot of different projects, not just one. There is a friendship that you're going to be able to work with regarding a work project, and I don't know what it is. It says growth and enterprise and actually moving ahead, and I don't know if it's a local place that you could show your work at or maybe do astrology at or something like that, but it's close by. It's not too far away.
That's good. Wow. That's cool. So, yeah, and it's true. And for those who, see, I have to tell you, because, I enjoy getting readings, but when I delve deeper into who I am personally, my Scorpio just wants to put the wall up, so it sometimes can get uncomfortable delving into my life, but I do like getting readings every once in a while, and I do appreciate you doing that, so thank you very much for that.
It says that there's an artistic project that's coming up for you, a King of Cups who's a heart-centered person who wants to hire you regarding a project. He's a friend of yours.
Cool.
And it's a very creative project because the Magician is next to it. But he appears to be some kind of a friend, or you find a friendship in it. You're going to be finishing up an old way, and you kind of got some new beginnings, new hope. You're not the one to go the traditional way, it says. The non-traditional way is to find work in kind of a non-traditional way. It does say that too long down the road there are 2 offers coming to you and coming home to success. So.
Wow. You said it is non-traditional?
Non-traditional, yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's interesting because that's kind of what I've been struggling with as far as, having financial goals and, really for those who don't know, I just moved to a townhome and I'd like to buy this townhome, but, working for myself, there is never consistency in what I bring in. So I was wondering, about that. The non-traditional is what I prefer. Pardon me?
It's time to take your sword out, cut away what's not working in your life. You've had a lot coming at you, including family matters and whatever, but things will be coming in fast. I think by summer you'll really kind of feel the flow that you want to feel at this point. There's some decisions you're going to be made about using your own intuition, and there's offers for you in using your intuition. So maybe it's your work in astrology and intuition that you do that maybe be out into the world, that will be out into the world just a little bit more.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I see some changes and creative changes for you, the Magician card, so you're going to make it happen.
Awesome. Wow, you always have really positive, wonderful readings for me. I appreciate that. I'm
You're welcome.
excited to see how it's all going to come about, because I do believe this is a year for everyone and me for shifting. So
it does justice for you. You're going to finally feel justice regarding a matter, so that's good.
Really? Wow. That would be a really great.
Offers and coming home to success. So keep up the mantras and the chanting and everything that you do with your intentions, because I think it's going to pay off here soon.
Cool.
Well,
Well,
it also said to get out there. Just got to make yourself get out there.
That's the hardest part of it. I don't want to. I don't want to deal with the crowds and the traffic, and yeah. But I have to tell you, with all the Uranus square Pluto energy, it's a lot about internal and external and difficulty and resistance, and now I think that's going to start easing up. So I really am looking forward to it easing up, and maybe not feeling like we're so contrary all the time. You know what I mean? That things are going to start moving more in alignment with how we want them to be, and not as contrary. So yeah, and so for you, you've got Uranus at 15 degrees of your 8th house, just about to go into the next house, which is higher education. I think I've mentioned this to you before, but that right there, again, it's the last degree of your house of commitment, of self-worth, of everything that Scorpio and Pluto stand for, which is legacies and inheritance and joint finances and relationships, goods of relationships finally wrapping up. And maybe, for you with that Uranus Aries energy, it's been really finding your own voice and finding your own truth, and coming to a place where I need to be able to speak my mind and not be told what to do. And the Aries and Uranus and Aries in the house of commitment probably has been like, I'm going to do my own thing. So as much as you may want somebody in your life, that has been, I think, restricting that for you. But now that, because Pluto is also in the house of romance, so now that the two are stopping this constant bickering and battle, I think that it's going to start loosening up for you to maybe find someone coming up here. I don't think it's going to take too long. Uranus is going into your 9th house. Of course, as with all planets, they retrograde. So at some point he will retrograde this year. And let me tell you what's going to go on. And not for a while, though. July, the end of July. So you've got a good long time. He's going to get to 20 degrees, which is really great. That's 4 degrees in there. And he won't even... Yeah, he'll literally go 6 minutes back into that house. So it'll be kind of like, oh, why are you bothering me with this hassle from some relationship? But pretty much, for the most part, Uranus will be going into your house of higher education and spirituality. And I think that's going to definitely kick you off on a new course. And I know you're coming to a crossroads with, you're a professor, right?
Right,
so
right.
And it's so interesting. Like, just think about it. Like, so Uranus, which is major life change, is in Aries, which is about the self, is going into the next house of higher education, which is your career, and you're finishing up that story. And usually when we have these types of transits, it will shift a career, it'll shift the story of whatever we're doing, and we'll like be off to something new. And a lot of times when Jupiter hits the midheaven or Uranus hits the midheaven, which is your career, it's like a retirement time. So for you, it isn't quite at the midheaven. It's just going into the house before that particular cusp. So really, there are still a lot of aspects for growth and for understanding new educational opportunities, and it doesn't have to be. And because it's Uranus, it's like, no, I'm going to be learning things myself. It's like you're the child just wanting, like, I have a feeling the next, let's see, about 6 years is going to be like, no, I cannot get enough of this or that, whatever it is you're personal interest is in, and you're just like insatiable to learn and to grow, and it's about you now. So all that, and Mars is going in there now, so you're going to be getting even more of that, like really wanting that growth and expansion for yourself. And of course, Jupiter going direct is going to hit your Pluto just before it goes into your first house. So that's a major life change. And again, Jupiter rules the house that Uranus is going into, and it's in fire. So it's a lot about taking action to your own personal vision. And really for you, I would say you have a lot of channeling ability coming up. Uranus in the ninth house. So Uranus is about truth and higher understanding, the air energy, the thoughts. So the claircognizance of information coming through fast and furious, and then going into the ninth house of understanding it's just going to be like I want to say you're going to be like sitting on that mountain, just letting the information come in. It's just going to be flooding you, and you probably already start to feel it. But
I think I have. I just think you're totally on. You're totally on about my life and where it is at this point. So thank you for those insights. It's good to know that the planets are supporting what's happening in real life. So that's great.
Yeah. I mean, well, the way I look at astrology definitely is we have a collective consciousness, and the planets are in our world, as far as I'm concerned, to reflect what we, like our projection of us onto the physical world. So, when and there all these new planets are being discovered, like Saturn planets, so they're out beyond Saturn, and I think they're even beyond Pluto. So it's like our world is getting bigger and bigger anyway in the physical world, so it means we're expanding our consciousness out there to have even found them. So, in our world we see we look in the sky, oh, it's a planet, it's a star, but it's a reflection of us. And I think if you go beyond regular thought processes, like the physical world is all there is, you can understand how it is a consciousness reflector, a way to project our issues out there into the world. And interactions with other people are projections of us because they respond to our energy constantly. It's an ongoing reflection of what we put out, we get back. So it's just a really cool thing to be able to look into a chart and say, I see this energy, and you're like, yeah, well, that's where I'm at. Well, because I can see it because it's a reflection of your personal chart, and then you're feeling it because the energy, it's like a synergy. The energy of the planet also gives back to you. So it's really cool. I just love astrology.
So insightful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, you're a sweetheart, and thanks for calling. That's so sweet of you to do that.
I encourage listeners to call in and make an appointment with you and have their chart done with you, because you're an amazing astrologer, and your intuition is so guided not only with your science of astrology, but also your intuition that guides you in it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Big hug.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Thanks. All right. Let's go to 901. Well, my computer's kind of hanging up here. There we go. Okay. Hi, 901. How are you?
Hi, Shelley. It's Lenise. Thought I'd chime in since there's room available.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second. You said Lenise, right?
Yeah.
Well, I've got people all there in the background.
Yeah. I can, I wouldn't skip it if there's someone else wants to go ahead, because I am in a store. I just walked in the store.
Oh, okay. Well, no, you know what? It's okay, because I've still got a short queue. I got another one after you, but I've still got 15 minutes, so I'm going to take one, and I'm going to do you. So what is it you would like to know about today?
Oh, well, just whatever is going on. I got a lot of, whatever pops up is pertinent.
So tell me again.
Uncertainty and fear.
What was that?
I was talking about uncertainty and fear filling.
Oh, okay. Now, tell me again what you do for a living.
Nursing.
Okay. You've got some issues, I think, in your work environment with another woman, probably more matronly, and she's right there. Yeah, this is a person who is showing you that you need to make a change and that you probably want to make a change. And I don't know if you felt comfortable making that change yet, but she's making it uncomfortable enough for you to want to actually go ahead and do that. So let's see what else. So you have kind of a similar layout to the last caller. You've got Uranus going through your 8th house as well, but Uranus just went into your 8th house and it's 2 degrees away from Jupiter. So there's another huge opportunity for expansion with relationships right now. And the expansion, but the expansion is that you're wanting to have your say in things. You want freedom, so that's really affecting how you interact with partners. And now, are you in a relationship or no? Are you married?
No, I'm not in a relationship, but I thought that I had one promising that we talked about before. It's like right up on my birthday.
That's right.
And yeah, that twin flame type of energy, but it kind of it went out.
Well, you know what? I honestly want to say that with Aries right now and Uranus and Aries, a lot of the energy is about finding out about yourself, okay? Because it's new, it's fresh, it's being reborn, and it's about commitment. So I think it's telling you that you need to expand your awareness of what your natural desires are to take action. Like, so what is it that you want to do in expressing your energy? Because that's going to give you a clue as to what you need in a relationship, okay? So Mars especially, Mars and Aries is saying no. Like, so when you go about your day and, you know, you're saying, well, I need to do this and that, and I've really got to get out in the garden and pull those weeds or whatever. So you're an outdoors person. You're a gardener, okay? So you need someone to share your love of the outdoors, or, you know, whatever it could be. Like, now I'm going to just, like, if you're by yourself and then you need to entertain yourself, whatever it is you do to entertain yourself, like, you're taking action on it now, and that is a clue. So all these behaviors and actions are really strongly pointing you in the direction of the kind of person you need, okay? So you need someone with fire energy on some level, and you have a moon in Sagittarius, so you're going to need definitely some kind of freedom and action associated with the person. And you know what? Saturn is in Sagittarius. He just went retrograde, so he's going to be retrograding for a while, but he will be going direct later on. I don't know if I've told you this before. I really don't know how much time I've had to spend with you when I was talking to you before, but next year is going to be a really big year, I think, for you. Probably moving, expanding your horizons, seeking out new interests, and you know, Saturn's going to be going across the cusp of your house of home and family, so there could be a new situation, moving to another place and setting down roots somewhere else, which will help expand your horizons. But also when Saturn goes direct later on this year, after, let's see, I'm trying to think of when he gets back into Sagittarius. Hang on a second, we'll look it up for you. Because when he gets back, because he's going back into Scorpio for a brief period of time from, let's see, right around the 1st of June through, okay, so he goes direct in August. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, August 1st. And then he gets back into Sagittarius on the 17th of September. So about 6 months from now, which seems like a long time, but it'll be okay because we have these issues to wrap up. And this is what I want to tell you, and it kind of goes for everyone too. But whenever we have something going on that appears to not be going the way we want, we're in alignment with what we need to learn. So it may not be where we're wanting to be, but it's where we need to be. And so right now, where you need to be is in your sense of awareness, your intuition. I hope you're paying attention to your dreams because that's talking to you really loudly. Mercury and Pisces in your house of work, really talking to you about what it is you need to be doing with your day-to-day life. And I don't know if you're getting any of those messages, but, you know, that's a really strong thing for you right now with all the Pisces energy. And then Aries, is telling you where you need to be going with relationships. And right now, the 3 houses that most of your planets are in are work and health, marriage and partnership, and so how you relate to somebody who's significant in your life, and then the value you have with other people, and the value you have in probably in the higher sense of the word, like how do you relate to the world at large as an interaction. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but so your drive to connect to people and finding out information, like, because the 8th house is about getting to the heart of the matter and the mystery, and you've got a lot of energy going into that. Are there any legal issues you're going through right now?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Good.
What is it saying about health?
Well, all the stuff for health is going on in right there in your 6th with the Vesta energy, and so that's kind of why I brought up. That's why I brought up the lady at work, because Vesta is an energy, and I could go into the asteroid, but honestly, I've read about it a couple times and it's not sticking strongly with me. But whenever I see Vesta, I see a mother figure and someone like that can hurt you emotionally. Like there's an issue around a female mother figure that could potentially hurt you, and that's literally 3 degrees off your Saturn, which is career in work. So that's what I said about the beginning. Like, so your health is about respiratory. So Aquarius in Saturn and Aquarius is the respiration and breathing. And also, I'm saying that because it's an air energy. Air signs are about lungs and breathing, but also it rules ankles and joints. So I don't know if you've been having issues with that. I felt the square between Uranus and Pluto was really affecting my joints and my bones, but definitely for you, joints and joint tissue, connecting tissues, like spine issues. It could be the discs on in your spine, because those are the connectors of the bones. And then also Neptune in Pisces is about feet, foot energy, pulling energy up from the earth. So
okay, I had a foot problem last week. My foot got really sore, and I had like a blister, but it healed up. I was worried about it. It's like, what?
No,
I think it was the type of shoes that I was wearing.
Yeah, but those issues are right there. And then Chiron, of course, is the wounded healer, and he's within 3 degrees of your natal Chiron in your chart at 14 Pisces. So, the feet are definitely something that, like, interestingly enough, the Achilles heel, if you use that archetype, having the weakness. You have a weakness somewhere. And the weakness for you, like health-wise, is the feet. And it also means that you may not be grounded, that, the Chiron and Pisces energy is the daydreamy energy, like kind of being in the possibility of what should be and not necessarily wanting to see what is. So there's probably some issues around that with the work, and it possibly is with your health as well, that you're not looking at the whole picture. Mars and Aries up there in the 8th, that could rule, let me just picture, it could rule like feminine issues. It rules blood, and up in the 8th it rules reproductive organs. So it could have something to do with that. It might be, menopause. That could be stimulated recently in the last couple of years. So yeah, those are the health issues I see sticking out kind of in general for you. Definitely women are triggering whatever physical ailments you feel in your chart.
Okay.
So anyway, I hope that helped you.
Yes. Well, thanks, Kelly. Shelley, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's good talking to you again.
You too. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, we're going to take 501. Hi, 501. Who is this, and how are you?
Hi, Shelley. It's Janae. How are you, girl?
Hey, Janae. I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great.
Cool.
I'm doing great. I was sitting here, and Actually, I was going to pull you some cards before I heard what.
Oh, no, it's
and
okay.
I did.
Did you?
No, I want to give it to you because it's meant for me too. I was sitting there thinking, I don't have anything to ask, but then I thought, well, maybe I do. And then I'm a Doreen Virtue angel card reader, and I'm like, okay, I'm being called to go get these cards.
Oh,
so
cool.
Anyway, I drew you a card. It's the Page of Earth, and the suit of Earth and the Doreen angel cards represent material world in which we deal with making a living and caring for our bodies and looking after Mother Earth. They aspect our lives represented by the suit, including money, work, home, security, health, resources, education, society, and environment. And for the Earth suit, we've chosen the realm of fairies, and that's what's represented, in all her cards in all the suits. All the Earth cards. And we've chosen those fairies because of their magical manifesting abilities and their close connection to our planet. So what I chose for you was the Page of Earth, and it means scholarly, dependable, patient, successful. But it says good news about financial matters is coming soon. Your plans move successfully forward at a steady pace, and you may adopt a new interest or passion. And I found that interesting that I drew that card before I heard what you asked Maureen. Was that Maureen McGill that called in?
Yeah, it was.
Gave you a reading?
Yeah.
So I think it kind of like, I love her. I want to get a reading by her myself.
Yeah, she's
so anyway,
awesome.
additional meanings to this card says, do your research. You have wisdom beyond one's years, and you're going to succeed in an upcoming endeavor. So,
okay.
Just be patient.
I don't know if you can pull another card because I'm actually looking into doing YouTube videos. That's kind of where I'm really getting drawn. And, of course, I'm also really self-conscious being on video. I don't know why. Probably because, I'm getting older and I've got more wrinkles in the light. But, I don't know if anything comes up for that, if maybe that's what you're talking about. But that's pretty cool.
I don't know. I just thought that I would pull you one, and that's what I have. So sometimes they don't always.
No, that's awesome. Wow. Well, that's so sweet. You ladies are so wonderful doing that for me today. I never get anything.
Well, you're always so sweet for me. Well, the next card I pulled was the High Priestess, and it's Archangel Haniel governs this card in the tarot cards for the Doreen Virtual Angel. And it says, listen to your intuition and have patience. Consider carefully what you want before acting. And let's see.
Definitely doing that.
Do what?
I said I'm definitely doing that because I've been thinking about YouTube for about a month and a half now, and I'm still researching it.
So let me read you what the extensive meaning of that means. It says, you drew this card because the answers you seek lie in your feelings and emotions. Trust your intuition and the power of your natural psychic abilities. Also pay attention to your dreams and any intuitive messages you receive as they're accurately guiding you. There's no need to race into action. However, take time to gain more insight into what you're wanting. And sometimes things may not be as they appear on the surface, but just rely on your intuition. Everything you need to know will be revealed to you in the time. Have patience, it says again. Silence is golden. Study up on what you want to do. And Archangel Haniel, I'm sure you're probably familiar with this archangel, but it's the goddess-like angel of our grace and feminine spirituality, such as intuition and clairvoyance. And so they say, like a true high priestess, Haniel will act as your spiritual teacher and advise you as to what to do in this situation, discerning, the feelings you have or allowing you to be able to discern the feelings and ideas. Trust in the guidance and call upon Haniel to increase your clarity with this situation.
Wow. Well, that's interesting because Haniel is one of the ones that I don't know as much about, but I did the Angel Therapy Practitioner course with Doreen Virtue too. And I mean, I talk a lot to Michael, and I just want to real quick say anybody who's listening live may get cut off because it's the end of the show, but I'm going to go on for a couple minutes, and I'm going to probably talk to one more caller after this. But anyway, yeah, I love Doreen Virtue, and it's funny because I keep weaving her in and out of my life, and every time I start expanding the angels, it's just like, things go better. So it's really kind of cool, and thank you very much for reminding me once again that I need to do more research with the angels, and I've got a book on all of them by her, so I'm going to look that one up again and try and get more personal relationships with the archangels. So, yeah.
Well, if I may ask you real quickly,
sure.
I'm not sure if you have my chart pulled up or not, but is there anything, just, you don't have to give me like a reading, except for just like if anything just points out, like is glaring, using your intuition, that I might need to be aware of at this time? It is kind of a high anxiety time. I feel we've had so much,
it is,
like Maureen said, planetary craziness. We've had major solar flares. That affects me tremendously, empathically, and, energetically. So,
yeah, and I posted something on Facebook today that one of the magnetic fields, or the magnetic field on the North Pole, I think it was affected by the last solar flare. It actually punched a hole in the magnetic field. That's how powerful it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so go to Facebook and look it up. I think it's on Astrologer Angel where I posted it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry I went and said that, but you said you're looking for anything career, you said, or energetic?
No, that might just anything that in my chart that might just bleep out at you, intuitively. I'm getting ready to move, and I finally found the place. As you know, I've struggled with what am I going to do? Am I going to move? And finally things are in alignment. And as it turns out, my guides were guiding me. I was all fretting about where I'm going to go, and poof, a place appeared, and it's working out perfect. But I just feel like something I need to know. Okay,
well, what appears in your chart, it reminds me, and there must be a reason for the symbology, it reminds me of something else I saw earlier this week when I was cleaning out my closet, which is back in the 70s, and I used to go to South Dakota. Well, I still go occasionally to South Dakota, but my family's from there. But at the Dinosaur Park area above Rapid City, there is a little shop that sold the necklaces with a medallion made out of little seed beads that look like an eagle, with the wings and everything.
Yeah.
And you know how the wings go up in a triangle and everything? They're opposite each other. That I found mine here at the house, and I also look at your chart, and that's what it reminds me of. So it's kind of like this Native American symbology for some reason. It just reminds me of that. But what's happening in your chart is you've got Uranus, Venus, Pluto, Sun, Mercury, North Node, and Mars in your chart, all within the same two houses, like right up at the top of your chart between the 8th and 9th. Then in the opposite side of your chart, right now in the sky, you got Moon, Neptune, Mercury, Chiron, Sun, South Node, Uranus in the 3rd. All of those are just in the 3rd house, and then you have Mars just going in to your house of home and family. So you basically have like an opposition of these clusters of planets. They're on either side of the zodiac, and that is what you're feeling with the anxiety. It's just, and all those Pisces planets are in your house, the 3rd house, which is an air energy house. It's a Gemini house. So Gemini, Aquarius, and what's the other? Libra, possibly. I don't hear a lot of anxious Librans, but air energy planets and signs tend to get more anxiety, and I think that's partially because their minds won't shut off. But
that would be me.
Yeah, you have Mercury in Libra and Mars in Libra, so you do have that energy. And so all this is in your chart right here. So it's in the 3rd house, and it's saying that you need to express yourself from all the information you're getting on a deep intuitive level, a psychic level, is right there, and it's wanting to be expressed. Like, I don't even know how you can keep from expressing it. It's right now, it's like write about it, talk about it, get it out, because if you don't, it's not going to be good. And I can tell you March 20th is a big day because, of course, the moon is going out of that house, and so is the sun. And then not long, within the month, Mercury will be going into Aries also. So that just leaves Neptune in Pisces. Everything will be in Aries. So it'll be moving out of that house, and it'll be moving into the sign of Aries, meaning take action. And that's also what got you the new house, the new place that you've been looking for. Is Mars just went into your house of home and family. So it's action around home. So that's how you found that new home. It's like everything lined up that way. So, yeah.
All right.
And then Jupiter, when it goes direct April 7th, big for you because Jupiter will go on top of Uranus in the house of commitment in Leo, which is romance. So I don't know if you're in a relationship, but you got a lot of opportunity because right after Jupiter conjuncts Uranus, it goes and that's the don't tell me what to do energy. Again, very, very autonomous, very, pro self, like just this is what I want. And then it's in Leo, so Jupiter in Leo is going to make you like light up like a Christmas tree to the opposite sex going, I want her. You're going to be very dramatic and definitely have a sense of presence wherever you go. And I mean, not that you don't now, but Jupiter's kind of holding the light down a bit right now. And when he goes direct,
actually, I have been dimming my light. I'm not in a relationship. I haven't been in one. Haven't been looking for one. So, this may be exciting. Maybe it's time,
then, right after that, he hits your 29-degree Leo, and then he goes into Virgo in September. But he takes light from Uranus to Venus, so he's taking this enlightenment and this expansion from I got chills with this one, so I know this is going to be a big hit for you. So you're going, I need this and this and that in a relationship to commit to someone. And Jupiter says, okay, got it. And then he goes to Venus and says, here you go. So, and right after that, he goes into Virgo. And then when he goes into Virgo, which is going to be around August, September, he's going to hit Pluto, which is life change. So, and he's going to be in the house that he rules. So it's a major shift and change. And I think that's when a lot of energy around holistic health, holistic healing is going to really expand your world. And you're going to start to meet a lot of people who are interested in that as well. So
you're giving me chills. So
I know I've got them all over my
goodness.
legs. So it looks really fascinating. They're coming, and the fall is going to be really good for our generation, Pluto and Virgo generation, because that's when Jupiter goes into Virgo. So it's going to expand, all the things that the healing we came in this world for. So, okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Shelley. I love you so much and appreciate you everything. Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling in. You're very sweet.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, I'm going to take 207 real quick. I've got one question for you, 207. Tell me who this is.
Yes, hi, Shelley. This is Tom.
Hi, Tom.
From Maine.
Okay.
I have one quick question because I know you're pressed on time.
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to start a job for 5 weeks.
Okay.
But there's a good chance that it might interfere with my disability.
Okay. So tell me your birthday real quick, and we'll see what we got. Hopefully I won't get cut off. I'm going to try and do this before we get cut off. I think I have about 10 minutes of record time. So go ahead.
Well, the job is...
Oh, no. I need your birthday. Give me your birth information real quick, and then I can tell you about that.
January 27th, 1959.
Okay. Time?
At 11:52 a.m. in Queens, New York.
Okay. Great. Okay, go ahead.
The job is driving the tractor trailer across the nation for 5 or 6 weeks.
Okay. And you're not sure if you're physically up to it?
I think I could pull it off, but there's a chance that it might interfere with my disability check.
Oh, okay. Wow, so you're worried about the disability check?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't see anything directly affecting your house that is connected to legalities in the government, which is either Scorpio or the 8th house. Jupiter. Jupiter's on Uranus in the house of home. That's not quite there. It's retrograding away. When are you going to start it?
The 14th. The 14th I go for training for 3 days, so I actually pull out on the 16th.
Okay. Hang on a second. I'm going to just look and see. The 14th of April?
April,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Well, I would say if you started it any time that Mars is in your 12th house, it's the hidden. I can't advise you to do anything that could jeopardize your money, but I can tell you that in the house of the hidden, obviously it's going to be something that, they probably don't know about, and that's where Mars is when you would start it. So let me see. I'm just looking at a few other planets and indicators to see what's going on. Yeah, Saturn's retrograde. I mean, it would indicate to me, Saturn being retrograde and Mars in the 12th house, that Saturn's career and pulling back away, like you're going back over something, you're not moving forward with your career, so to speak. So that's interesting that you say it's a temporary thing, because that would indicate something temporary. And then Mars in the 12th house, it's, behind the scenes to make money. So let me see what you have squaring, if there's anything squaring it, restricting it. 12. Jupiter is going direct, and it's squaring the house of home and family. So it looks like there would be some issues around, maybe your family life and taking the position that, you might not get a lot of happy people doing, because I think, are you married?
Yes, I am. They wouldn't be happy if I didn't take the chance.
Okay.
I mean, they're looking forward to
okay, I understand. Yeah, I just think that she's going to probably end up feeling like she misses you and where are you and that kind of thing, the connectedness. Although Jupiter on top of Uranus means there's a sense of like, I just need my freedom, and maybe she'll feel more like the queen of the house while you're gone. But there is a square going on between Jupiter and your Mars at that point. So I would proceed with caution. That's what I would tell you. I would proceed with caution, because Jupiter also rules money coming into the home down there in the home and family. And if Mars is squaring it, it may mean that you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. You're doing something. It's the day you're supposed to start. I did it for April 14th.
Ooh. Well, yeah. I could postpone it a week.
Let me see what that does. I don't know if it's going to go far enough to avoid that, but it's only within 2 degrees of an exact square. If it goes past it, you may run into, you said for 2 weeks or a week?
1 week.
1 week. So that would be the 25th. So let's see.
No, I would actually start on the 21st.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at today's date. Hang on a second. Whoops. Yeah. God. I've got the wrong window. Hang on. Because so many windows open here. There we go. Okay. So 21st. Yeah, I was looking at March, not April, so that's why I got that wrong. There we go.
Right.
Actually, it would go past that. So then it actually also would be past a direct square to Uranus, but Mercury is just at a direct square, which is travel. It rules travel. I might even say if you could postpone it 2 weeks would be better. But if you postpone it, I was going to say if you postponed it 2 weeks, they might not do it. That's what it looks like in here. So,
I have to go for 3 days training. So if I start on the 21st, I actually wouldn't be on the road until the 23rd.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that would be better. The 23rd, Mars is right near Mercury. But Mercury just goes past it, so there isn't, and that's also good too from an accident standpoint. I don't like Mercury conjunct Mars; that would be an accident. So it would be passed on the 23rd. Mercury would just be after Mars. So the only thing would be is he's approaching your natal Mars. So I would also say be cautious, but I mean it's not necessarily. Let me see. I'm just looking at what squares. How long are you on the road for?
5 weeks.
5 weeks. Okay. Well, Moon would be in Cancer, which means money. And let's see. 10 square. I would tell you if you started, I would be really concerned about an accident from the looks of it. I don't like that.
Moon I don't like that either.
Yeah, Moon would be just 2 degrees off of your Vesta, and it's a trine. And even though trines are a positive aspect, it seems like there's always something that kind of is difficult, and then it gives you a benefit. So it'd be like well, you've got, I don't know. Oh, let me look. I would say if you're going to do it, I would do it the 23rd, because Mercury and Mars are not approaching each other, and they're both past a direct square to Uranus, which would be more beneficial.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, that sounds good. And just be careful.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Just follow your intuition. If you're getting a no, I don't want to do it, then listen to it. Don't go against your intuition, no matter what pressure you get from outside sources. Okay?
Yes, because, I know I understand that.
Yeah, I definitely am one to listen to intuition, and I know pressure from people, but, man, when your intuition is sitting there saying this or that, you got to listen to it. Okay?
Yeah, there'll be a lot of pressure because there'll be a trainer in the truck with me for 5 weeks in a little 5x10. So that's a lot of pressure.
Well, yeah, you know what? You've got, again, Jupiter is going to go direct in your house, home, and family, and there may be some situation that comes up that you might have an opportunity to do something around the home also. And, Uranus and Aries, I think there might also be an opportunity for something for sales for you, some kind of sales job coming in. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I shall keep that in mind.
Yeah, well, good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much. I'll see
Big
you
hugs.
again. Bye-bye now.
All right, bye.
Go
Take
ahead.
care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that's my show for this week, and take care of yourself and be happy. Okay? My name is Shelley Overton. You can get me at astrologerangel.com. See you next week. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.